Oh, God, we're back.
I think everyone with headphones just got ripped. Anyway, we're here with JC again and Mr. Alex. Thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
I saw you in the back cracking up. JC, how you been, man?
I'm pretty good.
Oh, no, the fake hand.
What's going on there? Oh, jeez. Actually, I have a real hat behind this. You okay? Okay. Yeah.
So we're talking testing grounds.
Yeah. Obviously, we
There's
only knew that
all
was a
this
fake
candy,
hand.
and I've overindulged.
Somebody actually
as you can
thought
see.
that that was
Yeah,
JC's
no,
actual
it's not
hand.
a problem. It's a solution.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys have got
It's
a
mindset, right? But we got stuff coming to testing grounds. We're doing stuff with dodge attacks, apparently.
Yeah.
That's kind of a little
Dodge
technical.
attacks?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about
Okay,
that.
so this testing
those of you
grounds
who
is
don't
gonna be
like
for dodge
technical
attacks.
stuff, too bad.
The last one is
You know,
counter
like-
go up weeks.
Yeah.
So now this will be
Okay, so let me get into
dodge
it.
attacks.
We're doing something, right? So with this testing grounds, we're testing something a little bit different. We're doing dodge attack updates and changes to dodges and dodge attacks in general, right? So we're doing this because we've been seeing it quite a bit online, and we've seen it ourselves as well. Like we're not blind. That a lot of the time, there's a risk reward ratio that is really heavily skewed towards the defender, especially when they have heavy dodge attacks, right? Because you parry them, you get hit by a little light afterwards. Nothing much happens, and generally it's like, well, it feels like it's my best option is always to do side dodge heavy, right? There's a reason why dodge heavy is a crazy team, right?
Yeah. And
So-
I mean, we made fun of people when Griffin came out because they were like, I don't know how to handle this. And we're like, literally just parry.
Right?
Yeah.
But then the thing is, yes, just parry, but the problem ends up being that risk reward matrix I was talking about is kind of the unbalanced towards the defender, right? Because you do it every single time. Your opponent always has to feint to neutral, parry, get a light, you throw another attack, your opponent still dodges into a heavy, and rinse and repeat, right? So we're trying to solve that issue a little bit, going into it where it's more favored towards the attacker, more favored towards skillful play. We want players to do side dodge heavies side dodge attacks in general, right? When they feel it is the best tool for the situation and not the default response to every single attack.
It's not like, this is safe, I'm going to do it, this is safe.
Right, exactly, right? So we're going towards that, and on top of that, we're also looking at dodges themselves and adapting some of the things there so that it opens up a door towards better mix-ups in general, right? Right now, one of the big issues that we have is that when we do undodgeable attacks that are not from front dodge, we have to have at least 2 stances every single time, because otherwise what you can do with a lot of heroes is just block in one direction, dodge into the other, and then you end up blocking a side dodge attack. Like if it's a single direction, right? If it's only top, for a lot of heroes you can just block top and then side dodge.
Right.
And then you beat both the bash and the undodgeable. So that's a bit of our problem here, and it's really forcing us to spread out undodgeable all across the stances all the time. So we're looking at a way that we're doing something where this is going to be less of a problem. That's one of the things we're going to be testing here. That should be pretty cool. So Alex, you want to tell us what the changes are a little bit quick?
Yes, but the switch is not active.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Does it matter? Just go to the PowerPoint there, and then we can go into it.
Dead magic
All
break.
right. So first of all, the first thing we're looking at is whenever you parry a dodge attack now, you will always be able to retaliate with a heavy attack. So the same thing as if you were to parry a light attack. So here we're saying, okay,
They're having
I
some
see an attack,
technical
I want a
difficulties.
dodge attack. Well, I'm taking a
Oh,
risk. because
God.
instead, like the trade-off in damage is going to be a bit better for the person who baited the dodge attack, basically.
Hey,
So you're going to have to think a little bit more about it.
it's kind of like if something happens on the
Ooh,
news.
Flipping it from
Like,
doing that heavy parry.
has anybody
eating
seen
light,
those
doing that
those
light,
videos
and eating a heavy.
of those
Exactly.
people
Just like,
that
Which was kind of the big
those
problem
news
here in
reporters?
Europe.
Oh God, what the?
Like I do a dodge attack, I don't care if I get parried.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
oh
okay,
God,
that's
I
a
got
big deal,
Dwalker.
I gotta actually think about it, right?
Right. So if you want to see, you can try it out, Alex.
Yeah, but
One second. There we go. Looks a lot better.
Okay. So we have a bit
got
of a technical
Dwalker.
issue here. We can go back to the PowerPoint
yes.
and keep going through it.
Oh my God, dude.
And yeah, so the other problem, the other thing
I'm
that we
gonna
have
burn my
here
light
is
out
that,
with that.
not only
You know
are
what? I'm just gonna
side
keep mine
dodge
out.
heavies.
Sorry
they're not
if I look too
punishing,
bright.
right? So every time you
It's because the
parry a
PowerPoint is
side dodge
too bright.
heavy, you can get a heavy attack. it's also applied to side dodge bashes as well.
But yeah,
so on side dodge bashes,
like I
you
said,
can no longer chain on miss, and they're always
if anybody has
guard break
seen those
vulnerable.
news
So if you
reporters
read- if
on
you
the
have like, a
videos of them
Shinobi
having
interface
some
or,
technical
I don't know,
difficulties,
like whoever else has a side like
it's
a Conqueror,
so
for
freaking
example,
funny.
right? They're gonna do side dodge
because
bash.
of how many
If
stuff
you
they
read
had
that,
to
you
deal
do
with
side
when it
dodge
happens
into guard break,
live. But
and
you
then
know
you're-
that
it's always
that
been
old
allowed. You can't
expression.
chain on miss, you can't
If
do
something
anything. So
happens,
the idea is
the show must
whenever
go on.
you successfully
what's
read
happening right here.
that your opponent is going to do a side dodge attack, you always get at least a heavy's worth of damage.
Boom.
Depending on some heroes, sometimes it's a little bit more of a light parry or whatever, but that's kind of like the idea here. So that's super interesting. It's something I've seen being requested a ton on Reddit. Like even yesterday, even this morning, there was a thread about people going, if you were dev for just one day, what would you do, right?
Yeah.
Again, proof that I read Reddit. And one of the changes that somebody put, like a lot of people put, all side dodge heavy should be light parries, right? We're testing that right now. Super awesome. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I think
And-
Freeze has mentioned this a few
Yeah, I
times
think,
in
yeah.
his
So a lot of
videos
people have
as
been
well.
mentioning a lot of that stuff. So that goes really well.
From
I know
his volcano
Yeah,
base.
yeah. When we had our workshop with some of the pro players, when we revealed Medjai before, they actually tested this and they all loved it. So I don't want to speak for them, but Freeze had a massive smile on his face. That it was awesome, even though it was from home. I could only see from the
It's
camera.
like, this is everything I
Yeah,
need in
this is
my
everything
life.
I need. That was good.
That's my best Freeze impersonation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's I'll leave it to Alex to, like, if you want to fix stuff.
Oh, do we have a switch fixed? Not the
Yeah, okay.
switch, like the switch.
Yeah,
not
'cause
not the switch. The switch.
Little bit of info, like the way we work.
You talking about the
often
console?
when we do our build.
Because I have a Switch.
We have little switches we can turn on and off to turn on stuff from testing grounds or whatever
Yeah.
features we're working on. So that's
To just show you guys I have
fixed.
one.
Okay, so that's a bit of a nerf, right? Because those dodge attacks, because they're more vulnerable,
See, I have a.
it becomes a
have a
bit more
switch right
difficult
here.
to use them. But one of the things that we've been doing at the same time, which is a bit of a buff to this, right? So we want to equalize things a little bit.
Yeah, see, I have a
is
switch.
that we've made that every single dodge
got
attack
this,
can now be delayed from at least 2
almost
to
like
400 ms.
3 years ago.
Okay.
So before, a lot of the newer ones we had been doing were static at 300. So let's say Hitokiri, for example,
So
could
this
do
is more of like a standardization.
Actually,
right.
I think it
Yeah,
was 2
it's more of a
years ago.
standardization. But some heroes that had more are keeping more. Some heroes
did
that
Sword
had
and Shield
more are
come
like
out?
slow.
Was it 2020?
We're changing things a little bit
2019.
around. So
And is this just side dodge attacks?
it's just side dodge attacks, right? So front dodge, back dodge for like Orochi or whatever, those are unchanged. It's really only side dodge ones. So it really helps with the comfort for the input first, right? Because you can side dodge and do whatever. But it's also really interesting because you can extend your iframes, do them super quick, get all that stuff going. So that works really well. It's super interesting there, so that works quite well. And then the other change that we've done, well, I'll let these guys figure the rest of the stuff out, is we have what we call again, like there's iframes, right? So you know what iframes are?
Yeah.
I spoke about them
Yeah,
a little bit earlier.
vulnerability frames.
Right? Okay.
You
But-
cannot
Sorry.
take us down.
Yeah,
Check something
yeah,
out.
right. So, but the thing is, when we're dodging, our iframes were speed dependent, and by that
yes,
I
it
mean,
was 3
if
years
you're
ago.
dodging
Came out
into a
2019.
wall, your iframes would go away because you hit a wall. You had to reach a certain
like
speed.
Character speed
Yeah,
dependent.
character speed dependent, right? So whenever you dodge, once you reach a specific threshold, you would gain iframes. And if you stop because you hit a wall, you hit an ally, an enemy, a minion, whatever, your iframes would go away. That made it super hard to do stuff in team fights. It made it really difficult to get there. So
Especially like in the minion lane.
yeah,
It
the minion
gets
lane
all the
it
time.
feels
No
terrible,
moving,
right?
no grooving.
So
Pain
we've
town.
we've removed those, and they are no longer speed dependent. So if you dodge into a wall, you keep your iframes. If you dodge into minions, whatever those situations are, you keep your iframes, right? So that's really good. But to compensate for this, and to also help us have what I was talking about before with the undodgeables, is whenever you dodge, so you can see your Hitokiri
So we
dodging
can
right
see
now.
it now, right?
Yeah, we can see it right now,
We
right?
fixed the thing.
So
Yeah, you
if you
fixed
pay
it.
attention, you see like Hitokiri when he's standing still has the little block widget there, right? So you see he's blocking top or whatever. Normally, when you dodge, you keep those for most heroes, except like reflex guard heroes are a little bit different. But every single static hero keeps their defense while they're dodging. Sometimes it forces change. Sometimes it stays where it was at. And in a lot of cases, this is problematic because, like I was saying earlier, if I could do this with Shinobi, like Hito could block top and then side dodge and always block it. And it would negate every single mix-up I could do. And then that's why Shaolin, in this example, had to have undodgeable on at least 2 stances. And usually we put it on all 3 to make it a bit more uniform.
Right.
So with this change, every single hero now loses their defense while they are dodging. Now, this doesn't mean that like reflex guard heroes or heroes that have superior block, for example, lose them. They still keep those special properties while they're dodging, but everybody else kind of acts like Valkyrie does right now, right? So Valkyrie right now on live, even
Okay,
after
so
rework,
this doesn't affect people that
keep
have
her
the
defense
reflex
while she's
guards,
dodging, but not
deflex,
everybody is
and
like
the,
that.
So kind of a passive buff.
kind
Kind of a passive
not
buff,
colored, the-
right? But because we're changing, because we're changing around because
I
we're
forgot what
changing
it's
around
called.
the
Take it.
iframe stuff, it makes it so that
counter-
you're still able to defend, still able to dodge, still able to do all
counter-question.
those things, and you get into a good situation, right?
Again, it's always we want you to think about your
Exactly, right?
action.
We want to really reward skillful play and not just mindlessly do stuff and go, whoa,
Question
whatever,
counter,
I don't know
there
what
we
I'm
go.
doing.
And so for
I
those
got mixed
who
up. I
don't
said
know
counter
what to look
clutch.
for when you see like Hito's soul
Ah, damn.
leaving his body, that is also the soul of dodge attack spammers leaving their body right now
Question
in the
counter.
chat.
Yeah, and so what you can see right now,
Moan.
Alex can do a couple of dodge attacks here. See, and that's a light parry. Boom, I get a heavy every single time.
I appreciate you throwing the top heavy for me.
Right, so, and you can still, like, dodge attacks still work, right? You can still use them, and it's still
You know
okay.
that you can you have the
Oh,
the
superior
comfort.
block.
Yeah.
You can delay it a bit more, see what's going on.
Yeah, see, because for Shaolin before, you could only like really do them here. But now you can do them super early and you can do them really late. Right? So that's like the late time we were talking about.
Yeah.
It really, really helps in those situations. That's really amazing. And then if you want to show off the iframes, Alex, if you want to go
Yes,
to a
I was
corner.
going to ask you to do that.
Yeah, right, thank you.
Because this, I love this because sometimes like I'm bad and I get stuck
in
in
the corner.
corners
Yeah.
and then I just get murked by 3 different people and I'm like, I don't know
So,
that
yeah,
I
so right now
wanted
on
to be
live,
here.
right? Yeah, so right now on live, if like Hito had his guard to the side or whatever, and I threw a top heavy and he back dodged, he could not dodge it. And now, like this could not happen on live right now. So because you keep your iframes while you're dodging into the wall, then you end up being able to escape situations and dodge out of situations. A lot of the times, this type of stuff, if you have a bash, you can't do anything right now on live. And it becomes really frustrating. You get kind of stuck in the corner, and you have to hope that by you mash dodge, and I'm gonna like squeeze out of the corner. Now, no problem. You can always just back dodge, side dodge. You're gonna avoid everything. Works super, super, super well in this instance.
Yeah, I think it's C on Gauntlet. You tend to get pushed in that corner.
Yeah, there's
And
a lot
just,
of those.
Like it just happens all the time, and then
That's
you
it.
got the trap to worry about.
Even in this map, right? This is a competitive duels map. There's a lot of those little corners at a bunch of places, right? So we want to make sure that you're able to escape those situations and defend yourself when you get trapped in those situations. So overall, that's it. The goal of the testing grounds is really, really to change up the risk-reward matrix there, so that dodge attacks are still good. We still want people to use them. We still have them in the game. We just added them to heroes that didn't have them, right? We wouldn't do that if we didn't want to have them. But at the same time, spamming dodge attacks now should not be as useful. And again, it's really about rewarding skillful play. You have to think when you're doing dodge attacks and not just, I see an attack, I dodge attack all the time, right? It's still really good against lights. It's still really good against bashes. Against heavies, you're taking a big risk, right? And you can, like, it lands, you're going to deal what, like 14, 15 damage? You get parried, you take at least 24, if not 27, or even more in case of some other heroes. So that's kind of like the big change
so
here.
just flipped the trade from defender to
Exactly,
defender.
right? We really wanted to have that kind of balance there to change all of that. And so,
I wonder how people
that's it
go.
for this testing ground. I know a lot of
I
players
wonder how people gonna feel about
are really
this.
hoping to see Jorm in this.
I don't know.
too.
Some people might like it.
We want to take our time. What a good friend. What a hammer.
Oh god.
This is a great hammer, by the way. Like, thank you, Andre, from our dev tester team, who made this beautiful hammer. I can officially announce that the testing grounds for Jormangundr is going to be in the next season.
Hey!
So, year 6, season 4.
There we
We're
go.
going to have the testing grounds for
You
Jorm
announced
there.
it.
We've been taking our time a little bit with it because it's a challenging character to rework. Vanessa's team, we went to mocap with them. We worked tirelessly with them to make sure that we have new animations.
Now, a lot of
new
people were
attacks,
already
new stuff
excited
for Jorm.
that
We know
Jormangundr is going to be
people
getting a
love the
rework.
character, right?
But
And
now
we
that
love
it's
the
coming
character
next
too.
season, a lot of people are more
but
excited now.
The way the character was built, and a lot of people say, like, we've seen tier lists, right, where like Jorm is always at the bottom, and we really want the hero to be viable. Doesn't mean we're aiming for like a S tier must pick all the time, but really that we can play with the character, that it's fun to play with, it's fun to play against, and have really interesting tools. But to do that, we did have to go back to mocap, make new attacks, add new things to really get into that groove of we're gonna make almost a brand new hero out of him, which is super super cool. I know like Alex has been
and
playing with
that's-
him quite a bit.
So the Jormangundr is going to be getting
Everybody's
some
super
new
hyped. Again,
animations.
when we did the workshop, we had a work in progress
can't wait to see how
version
that
of the
is gonna
hero
look
going
like.
there.
I know a
and
lot of people are gonna be
everybody was
excited for this.
super
Oh,
excited
God.
about it as well. So it's like we're all really really hyped
it's-
for Jorm. So
It's awesome. I'm so excited. And there was like someone in chat earlier. I think it was like Shanty Cat 1266 or something. It wasn't him. It was someone else. But they were like, "Oh, so you can mocap a giant spider, but you can't mocap moves." And I'm happy to say, suck it.
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
hey!
you picked the wrong stream to
Anybody
say
who
that.
watches
Yeah.
wrestling
Right, and so
or knows about
sometimes we have to,
Degeneration
like,
X,
I know it can feel like
we got
it takes
2
a long
words
time
for
us
you.
to rework some characters
Suck it.
and like blah, 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 but at the
That's-
same time
that's
when we're
awesome.
looking at characters like Jorm,
Actually, that's
Lucia,
that's
like
actually kind of
others,
funny.
it does
Somebody
take time,
uh,
especially when
somebody
we do have
judged
to go back to mocap.
already
like,
ahead
all
of the
these things
stream,
take a long time,
even though the stream
but we want to get
they
it
didn't
right.
get into all the
we want to make sure
details,
that
so-
we do right by players.
And
players
that he
sticking by
deserves
Lucia
it.
and Jorm and all that sort of stuff. So we want to make sure that we do it right. We're not ready to announce a Lucia rework yet. Again, like I said,
Oh.
Jorm, we started this Jorm rework 6 months ago. It takes a long time to
Lucia's-
really get into it, get the nitty gritty details out.
Well, he
and get
mentioned
them right.
Lucia.
No,
So,
and I think that's the thing.
so-
like, not a lot of people who just like, they play the game, they engage with it, they love it. They're like, For Honor's
So I guess
awesome.
that's a
It's, like,
tease.
been a part
That
of
is it
my
because he
life for
said
whatever, 6
well,
months
they're
or
not
6
ready
years.
yet to
And
do
but they don't
Lucia's
really,
rework.
Have
But
exposure to like.
that's actually
just
like a
how long
tease
this
that
is.
they're
So it's
looking
like,
to it.
we
So
want to do this
yeah,
rework on a character.
people are
we know
now
needs
that's
it,
gonna be great
but
because
it
now
takes, like,
people
this much
are gonna be getting
time
excited
where
that
we can do,
the
like,
two
a whole
heroes
bunch of
that
changes to, like,
needed
killing
some
characters,
love,
but
and I
those-
mean,
all those
and I
changes
mean,
only take this much
really
time,
needed
and
some
it's like,
love.
well,
Was
time
the
versus
Jormangundr
impact to the
and Lucia.
community,
They
and
really
that,
needed
like,
some
there's a
changes
lot
to
we
them,
have
and
to
now they're gonna be
consider
getting it.
in that. So it's like,
So,
well,
that's
80%
awesome.
of the community can have better gameplay.
So
in the meantime
Jormangundr is going to be in the
before we
next
work on this other
season.
stuff.
Lucia,
Then
I
that's how
think
we
we have to
roll.
wait
Exactly,
a date for
right.
that.
And that's what's really important to us. And like, we know that people are always going, oh yeah, what about balancing? What about reworks and stuff? And we really, really want to work on them as much as we can. But like you said, sometimes we have to strike a balance a little bit of
Balancing
going like
balance.
how long we take to do like specific reworks versus doing a bunch of hero changes and stuff and getting into it and getting the best game possible we can and getting the most balanced game we can. Clearly, nothing has perfect balance, but the better we can get there, the more enjoyable it is for everybody, and the better it is. So that's super cool. And one last thing,
There's
give
more?
us no, I mean
Billy
just,
Mays here.
yeah, the feedback, right? So we love getting feedback. We want everyone's feedback. If you like this, if you hate this, if you like one part of it but you don't like the other, like any sort of feedback that we can get, we love it. I want to hear everything, right? You can tell me that you don't like what I'm doing, it's fine. But at the end of the day, it's the most feedback we get, the better it is. And do not hesitate. Like you can go on Reddit, like I said, whenever these things happen, we get testing grounds. I'm
You're there, I'm there.
The weekend,
everyone's
the
there.
weekend after, I'm on like my wife's getting mad at me because I'm on Reddit all weekend. So it's like a lot of
Every Saturday, my
every
wife is like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Work stuff." And she's like, "But we have plans." And I'm
Right.
like,
So-
but For Honor."
right, it's our life.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? So all the feedback, we look at it, we read it, we pour through it. I watch, I know Alex too, like we all watch like all the videos that content creators make, everything. We need to get into why players like things, why they dislike things, and we know because we also play the game. But we want to get to a point where everybody's feedback is considered. We're not just going, oh, the pros love this, or like more casual players love this. No, it's like everybody's feedback goes into
That's
consideration.
understandable.
We make choices based on that.
And this
And we
this
wanna have
happened.
as much feedback as we can on all of those things.
This was actually
So
a
that's
a
what I have to say.
topic
Like, it's
a couple
very
years
important to
ago,
us, and so it's
and there was actually a For Honor
But,
content
yeah, I think
creator
that's it.
that's it for the
named
segment, yeah.
Raven
We will
Gaming,
be right back,
and I used to watch him a
with
lot.
Some
And he
content of the
talked
week and
about-
a few other things. So
about-
Nolan will be back to join
that
me.
there
for
was,
that.
like,
JC,
some
Alex,
issues
Thank you so
on-
much.
Problem?
Thank
on,
everyone watching for
which-
bearing with us
who
through the technical
who
issues.
the better
but we'll be
should
right back,
listen to.
with
Like,
content of the week.
should they listen to the pro players or the the other everybody else? And that right there was a bit of it was a bit of a trouble because there were some problems with that, dude. And I completely understand what JC's saying that all the stuff that they had to do with the feedback and all that stuff, and But yeah, dude, I remember that freaking topic that was talked about, a couple years ago, about the pro players and the other players that developers should listen to, and all that stuff. So if you do one thing, then the other side gets upset, or you do it for this one, and then the other side's gonna be getting upset, and of course you can't please anybody. If you try to please everybody, you please nobody, and that's the one difficult thing that not only do the devs deal with, but every other people deal with too when it comes to some of these situations, especially when it comes to some other games too. So I can totally understand where they're coming from, and also I can understand when they say when it takes some time to go ahead and do the some of the changes and all that stuff. And you guys have to understand the dev team, the For Honor dev team on like a big dev team, kind of like how Call of Duty has a lot of people working on the Call of Duty games. The dev team of For Honor was small, so they're doing they try to do everything that they can to try to get things out. But if you have a small team, it's gonna take some time. So I completely understand where they're coming from. So yeah.
Waiting,